Oh, here we go. Brand new platform, everyone. We're live here. I'm going to bring in our guests. Hey, everyone. This is Carole Freeman, board certified keto nutrition specialist. Brand new platform we're playing with here today. And so hang tight as we figure out what all we're doing here. So, look at this. It's working. Yay. I'm so excited. I tried for the last 2 days to go from other platforms. And this is so cool. I wish you guys could see. I don't know what you guys see, but what I can see, cool. And I've got different ways of doing this. So this is one view. We can do a this way. Okay, let's do this. Does that look different for you guys too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can. I feel like I have more power the other way because I got the big screen. You guys got the little one. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so we have 6 people watching live. Oh my gosh, this is a big deal, you guys. This is a record so far. All right, so welcome to this episode of Keto Chat live. I get to actually say that it's live. Oh my gosh, Ken Berry's here. Woohoo! Feels so special.
Hey, Ken.
You guys. Hey, so let me just set the tone. I'm so excited too because the last 2 days I've had laryngitis. I couldn't even talk on the shows I was trying to do. So let me set the stage here of what the heck we're doing here. So again, I'm Carole Freeman. If you guys don't know who I am a board certified ketogenic nutrition specialist. I specialize in helping mostly women be able to follow a keto diet in a sustainable way so that they can lose weight and keep it off for the rest of their lives. And so with all the garbage that's going on in the world right now, so many people are feeling stressed and anxious and overwhelmed. And so I committed to doing this show live every night on a variety of topics that are going to contribute in a positive way to mental and physical health at this time. So I want to offset all of the bad news that's out there by bringing you the very best of the best out there on a variety of topics. So tonight's topic is all about how to stay active. Everybody's gym is closed. Everybody's kind of got the urges to just stay home and give up and, eat whatever they want, lay on the couch all day long. But all of these people are here today to share with you all the ways that you can still stay active and healthy so that mentally and physically you can stay well during this time of isolation and quarantine. So let me introduce our guests here. Let's see. So I'm just going to, here's what I'll do, you guys. I'm going to say each of your names. Then I'm going to introduce one of you. And oops, where's my thing here? I'll say each of your names, who's here. And before I give you your segment, so each of these people are going to talk for about 10 or 15 minutes. I'll say your full bio, your full introduction before that. So we've got Mike Berta, Brenda Richards, Ashley Gutermuth. And so let's just, I'm going to go in the order that I have the bio on here. So Ashley Gutermuth is a Seattle-based stand-up comedian who grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. Her high-energy, positive style of comedy is irresistible, and I totally agree. You guys are going to love her. Ashley's comedy is focused on her unusual relationships and observations about life. When Ashley is not performing stand-up or voiceovers, she is usually running and has a daily running streak that spans over 5 years. All right, you guys, she's not letting this virus get her down. For running tips and comedy videos, follow at Ashley Gutermuth on Instagram. So welcome, Ashley. I'll have you go first and share with us. Welcome.
Okay, yeah. So basically, I started running 1,883 days ago. And that's 5 years and 2 months and some change. When I started running, I was terrible at running. I can't get that across strongly enough. I was horrible. My miles were 16, 17 minutes. I could barely get through. I would wheeze the entire time. I started running because I wanted to be better at running. And there were side effects, like I lost weight and had things like that happen. I could actually see my ankles at the end of it. But the whole point was to get better at running. So I decided to run for 2 weeks, and every day for 2 weeks, 1 mile every day, which seemed just impossible. And I knew at the end of those 2 weeks, I was going to be fit and beautiful and skinny and everything would be wonderful. And of course, at the end of the 2 weeks, not much had changed, but I kept going. So now here we are 5 years later, and I have this running streak. I I like it now. You know, running probably for the first year, I didn't really like it that much. A lot of people have issues with it. They might not be able to run, or you know, they have knee problems, or just hate it. But I will say, if you do it every day for 5 years, you start to like it. It's it gets better.
Hang in there. It only takes you 5 years to like something.
Exactly. Hang in there. There's been ups and downs. You know, so the whole point of a running streak, there's a club called, if you go to runeveryday.com, you'll see all the people that have been in the club. And there are people that have ran at least a mile a day without missing a day. That's important. You don't stop to walk. You don't miss a day because you're sick. They've ran at least a mile a day for over 50 years. So for my 5 years in the group, that's nothing. Basically, they should be here, not me. But yeah, there's been ups and downs. I move a lot, and you know, I usually, when I'm moving, I'm driving, and I have to run at gas stations. You know, you run in less opportune places, but that's perfect for now. You know, with everything being shut down, I normally run outside anyway, but you know, with everything being shut down, you can just go. You know that you can be resilient enough to run anywhere as long as you get that mile in. But today, now there's something happens when you've ran, when you start a streak, eventually you start other streaks. So I have a streak within a streak, and that is 3 miles a day. So now I run 3 miles every day, not just one. And I also pick up trash while I do it. That's part of my Instagram videos. I got in a really bad car accident in January, and the car got totaled, and they didn't really want me to run, but at the end of it, they said you can, as long as your headaches don't get worse. So I couldn't go faster, and I lost a lot of my times. I went from maybe like an 8-minute mile to maybe about 11, just trying to make sure I didn't jostle my brain around too much. So I decided to start picking up trash along the way, and it just, you know, it stuck. It's been good, you know, and I think that it's good from a body perspective too, because I'm going around. Sometimes I'll have a stick, but a lot of times I'm just bending, you know, bend, pick it up, put it in the bag. You know, there's a lot of movements happening, and it's been pretty good.
We have a Facebook user showing, let's see, this is a feature here. Can you guys see that? Facebook user saying hello. So Facebook user, Facebook won't let us show your name unless you approve it. So if you run over to, let's see, streamyard.com/Facebook, and you tell Facebook it's okay for us to see your name, then we can see you. So actually, whoever the Facebook user is, it just said hello. If you want to tell us your name, that's cool. Or if you want to run over to streamyard.com/Facebook and allow it, then we can see all your comments here on out. So just so you guys know.
John Wheeler that I saw in your Keto chat group. It's John Wheeler that
John
said hello.
Oh, hey, it's good to see you,
John.
John. John's been following me on Instagram, and so this is actually one of the topics he had requested. So I said, you know what? We've got a topic coming up just like that. So glad you're here, John. Welcome. All right, Ashley, I rudely interrupted you because, you know, people are here live, and we want to acknowledge them for being here. So this is great because we can actually be interactive too. So Donna, John, and Ken. Hey, Donna, John, and Ken. Facebook user. Yes, I have. Okay. I don't know if that's the same person or if it's different ones. This will be fun as we figure this out. So we'll be working all the bugs out of this over the coming days and weeks. I can't wait to keep doing this every day. It's going to create a bunch of momentum. Talk about a streak, Ashley.
Yeah, you have a streak. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So did you have more? Can I ask you some questions, or did you have some more things you want to say first?
Any questions you'd like?
So I read a lot of books on habit change. And so one of the techniques you're using, which is, you know, a tally and not breaking a streak, is really powerful, right? So once you get in the rhythm of something and you've gone that many days, it's really motivating to keep going, right? It's pretty easy, even though you may not want to every morning. It's pretty easy, like, but I don't want to start over at 0. I've got 1,800.
Oh yeah, it would absolutely devastate me if something happened. There's only, I've said this since about year 2. It would be significantly harder for me to stop running at 0.98 of a mile, which is where I haven't made it yet, than it would be for me to not run at all. So it's so habit forming doing it day in and day out. I've had a lot of times where I've had to restart the mile. So somebody will ask me for directions and I'll be polite. And I had somebody stop me at 0.99, maybe 3 steps away from that mile being done. And I stopped, gave them the directions, restarted the mile. Even on my daily trash run, I don't collect trash for the first mile because that's the one that counts for the group. And
okay.
It's pretty obsessive, but I do streaks for a lot of things in my life. It just helps to keep me, focused on things and nail it down. I just, a lot of, you can do it with any types of exercise. Right now you're at home, so planks. You could do a plank a day, right? Even if it's like for a minute. Or in between commercials, push-ups, planks. If you don't like running, you can start some other streak. And I can't tell you how much that will help you, even if it's just a little bit a day. My physical therapist has me I had that major car accident, car is totaled, my brain's all jostled around, back and neck issues. This is what they have me do. Just move my head back and forth. And you'd think, that is not intense enough to do anything, but that's what they have me do. And it does work as long as you just keep doing it, every other day or one day at a time.
Oh, maybe that's a statement on how little they expect of Americans and how low our activity level is.
Could be.
We hope that you can just move your head.
Just
2 times a day. That's what we expect from you. So Carmen's here. Carmen, welcome. Thank you for coming. Desalina as well. Thank you all. This is fun actually having people live here, you guys. And so those of you that are watching live, if you have questions for our guests, go ahead and pop them in there. For those of you that your name is not showing up, go ahead and just, if you put your name first and then your question, we'll know who it is. So I know on Facebook it looks a little silly. Oh, Karen's here too. We can see your name actually. So welcome, Karen. All right. So basically your streak is what's keeps you motivated to keep going. The quarantine, stay home, social distancing, all of that didn't matter because you're going to keep going because you're dedicated to your streak, right?
Absolutely. And, I don't have a treadmill. So I had to think, if at some point they tell us we can't leave the house, what am I going to do? So I've mapped out where I'll run, and it's just a space in my backyard doing loops and in sort of my living room kind of area. And I will do that for 3 miles because I can't lose the streak. I can't lose it.
That's great, right? No excuses then.
No excuse. No, I can get it. I've gotten it done under worse circumstances. I've had a lot worse pain. In 5 years, I've had the flu. I've had the stomach flu. I've had serious medical things happen, and I've still gone out and got the first 5K I ever ran in, first 5K race. I had food poisoning the night before. Still got up, went and did it. Your brain and body can handle so much more than we think it can. You just go.
Nice. So what does it mean for you now? Like the run streak keeps you motivated, but what does it do for you physically, mentally, health-wise? Like what does the running mean to you that way?
Well, I feel like I said, I bumped it up from 1 mile to 3. I felt like 1 mile wasn't enough for me anymore. And I just wanted to get more endurance. So I've tried to increase that. My 3 mile streak has been going since June. And I also, I try to change things to change the way that my body responds. So right now I wear running sandals. I don't wear running shoes. They're made in Seattle and they just look like regular sandals that go between your toes. They work really well, but they change the muscles that work in your legs. So I had to adjust to those. So I do things to try to tweak. So it's not just one pounding after another. running on the street is very difficult on your body. So I try to run on the grass and on trails or soft things. I try to do things while I'm running. Sometimes I'll like do little curls or I'll carry something with me, you know. But I also, because the running, I'm at a point now where it seems like almost nothing. It's just like it's just a part of the day. I added in other things. Like I said, the planks and the push-ups and the sit-ups and they all become really helpful. And it just sort of it gets me motivated to try to find a whole concept, you know, to encompass all of my body when it comes to building muscle and being fit.
We've got a couple people in the comments that think they're pretty funny. Somebody said, I only run if somebody's chasing me.
Well, I only run away. I run to run away from bears. That's my primary reason. You know?
Well, in the Northwest, you know, it's a good skill to have. Yeah. And then just in general, if the zombies come and get us, we all need that skill. So
exactly.
Yeah. Wow. So I'm betting. So you're a streak person, and I bet you were counting your comedy days.
I do have comedy streaks. Yes.
That was an abrupt end. So how much more important did the running streak become to you then when we lost all of our comedy?
Oh yeah, I definitely have had comedy streaks. My comedy streak turned into a writing streak.
Okay.
So, because I had days, whole like 60 days in a row, you know, where I would go out last year without missing a night. Same idea. And with comedy, as you know, you're around a lot of other people. You're touching a microphone that has a lot of germs on it. So I would go 40 to 60 days without missing a day. Then I'd get sick, and I couldn't go out because I didn't want anyone else to get sick. But yeah, I've turned that into a writing streak. So I use 2 different streak counters. There's apps that you can download that tell you can say, all right, this is what I want to do every day. It'll send you a reminder, and then you just tick it off, and it shows you how many days you've done on an actual calendar. And that's really nice because you can say, oh, did I work that day? Did I do it? It's done. So yeah, I've got the writing streak, and I'm starting some plank streaks. And as soon as I'm able to, the physical therapist says I can do push-ups again, I'll start a push-up streak.
So what are the apps that you like? Because I know for me, I'm old school, and I recommend to some of my clients actually check it off on a physical calendar, but those aren't all things anymore. So what app are you using?
So let's see. The one for writing, it's just called Streaks.
Okay. So that has a different meaning with all the toilet paper runs we've got going on right now, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So normally, because I said, I move a lot. Whenever I move into a new neighborhood and I tell people I'm a streak runner, they immediately think I'm running naked, which, you know, I'll only do if they pay me enough. The other app is, so there's Streaks, which I use for writing, but then my main one is Streak Tracker.
Okay.
And this is just for running. And as it just says how many days it's been. And then I can put that, and, you know, you just, especially for the first year, you look at that every day and you just go, oh my God, how have I done this? You know, the first 100 days it's amazing when you just keep it going. And there's tons of people that do it. Really anybody can, and you don't have to do it for running, do it for walking, do it for whatever it is you like to do. And that will keep you going and build you to the next thing.
That's great. Mike and Brenda, do you have any comments or questions for Ashley?
Go ahead, Brenda. Ladies first.
So, have you always been interested in running, or you just decided one day that this is it? You're just going to hop right in there and go? Or had you like dabbled in it previously? Have you tried other exercise things and settled on that?
I've always been fairly intense when it comes to exercise. I've done Muay Thai and kickboxing and other things like that. And I was pretty athletic as a kid, but I was athletic in a powerful way. And I played baseball and could hit and throw the ball really far, but couldn't run. And I just didn't have the wind to do it. And like I said, when I started running, I would wheeze significantly. So I had dabbled in it, and I tried to do the, every other day kind of a thing. And it just wasn't working for me because I would dread the next, 2 days from now, when I run 3 miles, it's going to suck. But if you're just running 1 mile, which for the average person will probably take about 12 minutes out of your day, that's nothing. And I was, like I said, I was so terrible at it, 16, 17 minutes. And I just at the end, I was spent. It just became really helpful when I just said, okay, I'm just going to do it every day. And the problem, of course, is every day until when? Till I die? I think that might be the case. Or there's been people in the group that have ran on broken legs. They've ran lots of pregnancy runs, people that run. So they'll have what they call the baby has a streak when it's inside, and then they have the baby, and the baby may continue the streak in the stroller. But the most amazing story is the woman that had the C-section, and still her streak is longer than mine. And there's people that on Instagram that I'm friends with that have arthritis and have all kinds of issues, and the running has really helped them. So I feel like it's helped me, in a lot of ways, especially, leg wise. I mean, it's changed the muscles in my legs immeasurably, and mentally.
I'm not able to comment, but Facebook user Carole, you want to go to StreamYard.com. So not streak, StreamYard.com/Facebook. I'm not able to actually type it in right now, but that's where you want to go. If you go there, it's going to connect with your Facebook. It's going to ask you for permissions, accept and allow it. And that's how you're going to be able to do that. So, oh yeah. Thank you so much for whoever just posted that in there. Facebook user. Thank you. Perfect. All right. Yeah. And so those of you that are watching, if you also have questions for Ashley or anyone else on here, go ahead and type those in the chat box as well too. So now I'm gonna go to Mike and ask.
Can I ask Ashley a question?
Yeah.
So you mentioned someone ran through some injuries. I completely blew out an ankle playing soccer, and that sucked really bad. Like, how do people actually run through lower body injuries? That sounds like it could maybe make the injury worse.
Yeah, and absolutely. A lot of them have doctors that are also runners or, physical therapists in some ways that helps them. For my say, to only talk about my experience, I have broken my ankle playing racquetball. And so I have a weak ankle, and I wear compression socks to help because my Achilles are so tight from breaking it. So I have issues with that unless I roll it or I wear the compression socks. I have issues there, but it loosens up, and it just doesn't take. It's not so painful that it makes me want to stop. But there's a lot of products out there that people use, a lot of rolling and advice. And there's some people. There was a woman I knew who would see me running, and she said, "I can't wait to get back to running. I had a double knee replacement, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back to it again, but I want to, maybe in about 2 months." And I said, "You should never run again. Like you've had your knees. It's okay to find something else. It doesn't have to be running, but if you really love it, you don't want to exacerbate anything, but there absolutely are people that run with ridiculous injuries. Especially, if you look at any ultra marathon, the injuries that people run on there are amazing."
And just to clarify, for those of you confused in the chat, if you're on Facebook in the group, you all can see each other's names. You can see your photos in there. But those of us, your guests on this show right now, we're using a separate app that's called StreamYard. And so in that app, we can't see your names or your photos. So for example, John Wheeler, Ken Berry, they did the permissions to allow us to be able to see it on this app. So I know it's a little confusing. And now I can see that Brenda is one of the ones that's commenting here based on, I'm assuming it's Brenda based on that. Yeah, so it's just in-app thing, this system that we're using to be able to stream through the Facebook group. If you want us to be able to see it from our side of things, you have to allow that through the app. But those of you that are on the Facebook group right now, you guys can see each other's names, no problem. So hopefully that's a little clearer than murky water right now. So, all right, are you good with that answer, Mike? Because I'm gonna pull you up next.
I'm good.
All right. Up next, we have Mike Berta, a very good friend of mine. I've known him, 3 or 4 years now. Lives about, I don't know, what is it, 3 miles from me that way?
Yeah, I'm just one Ashley run away. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. We know each other from the keto world. Mike has become a very dear friend. I consider him to be my keto brother. And so Mike is a dad, husband, engineer, low carber, and often N of 1 tester in the Seattle, Washington area. He's been a low carber since 2014. He can be found in the Keto Diet for Optimal Health Facebook group, as well as the Keto Gains Facebook group. And on Instagram, you can find him as at Keto My Burrito. Welcome, Mike.
Hello, Carole. Thanks for having me. But yeah, so I've been doing low carb since I think 2013, 14, something like that. And then met you shortly thereafter, maybe a year or two later.
Yeah, I've had some of you, if you've been following me for a while, I've had Mike on a couple of interviews on our keto chat. And one of ours was a taste test of chicken wings. I think that was the first time we met in person, actually. And
it was, yeah.
Mike was pretty skeptical. I reached out to him. What he didn't say in his intro, that Mike has lost over 80 pounds following low carb lifestyle. And most people that see him and how active he is now, they are like, this dude has never had a weight problem. He can't understand what it's like. So I just want to throw that out there, that because of Mike's lifestyle and because he's become active, and I think both of those go hand in hand, it's how he looks like he's never had a weight problem. And I know that physical activity is a big priority in his life. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have him on here. So I'm just adding that into your bio there.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was at a dentist recently, and there were 2 dentists working on me, and they were talking about like how they really wanted to have a bunch of food, and they're like, oh, and you can eat whatever you want because you're skinny. And like, I just wanted to like start screaming, but they have all this crap in my mouth because I'm being operated on. And like, so I was very nice to them afterwards, but afterwards I sort of gave them my story and everything too. And so that was really cool. But anyway, about activity. So do you want me to tell you like what I'm doing now during this whole issue we're dealing with?
Yeah, or, sounds like a great place to start. Yeah.
Sure. So I absolutely love things like hiking, soccer. I dabble in running a little bit. Like I've done a couple half marathons here and there, but nothing too crazy. But I really like strength training the most. And with the gym closed, kind of relying a lot on body weight stuff, which for me is a decent transition because I follow Dr. Ted Naiman, and he's really into body weight training. And so at my house, I have a pull-up bar, and I can do push-ups anywhere there's a floor, you can do push-ups. And so I came up with
anywhere there's a floor. Well, few places, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never met any place without a floor. Anyways.
So as soon as I realized I couldn't go to the gym, I came up with just a sort of routine, and I wanted to come up with one myself. There's a lot of ones that are out there, but I just wanted to come up with one myself. And so pretty much every day I'll start with doing some sort of a body weight type squat. I also do the dreaded burpees all the time. Yeah, I can bang out a fair amount of burpees. And on one day, I'll do a bunch of different types of push-ups, and then kind of end it with some planks. And then another day, I'll still do the same squats, burpees, and planks at the end. But instead of doing a push type activity, I'll do more of a pull type activity. So I'll do a bunch of different types of pull-ups. And then I have a third day where I'm still doing the squats and the burpees and the planks. but then I grab out my dumbbells and I'll do some shoulder stuff. I'll do the lateral. Whoops. I'll do the lateral raises, and I'll do the front raises, and I'll do rows and tricep extensions and curls and overhead presses. And I'm not really trying to, gain as much muscle mass as humanly possible right now. I'm really just kind of trying to keep my sanity. And if I do something, then I'm not doing nothing. So that's what I'm doing as far as strength training goes. And I'm trying to get out and do hikes, but I'm finding out here in the Pacific Northwest, it's very difficult to get any sort of effective social distancing with hiking, because it turns out that basically everybody wants to go hiking right now. So you can't really go to any of the popular places at all. It's like, if I'm going to go out, it's pretty much going to be a ferry ride or a mountain pass somewhere where there's some sort of barrier of entry where most people aren't going to go. So today we went to an island called Whidbey Island. Those in the Seattle area will know it's a very beautiful place, but we had to take a ferry to get there, and the place was pretty much empty. So yeah. So
John, by the way, you're in the chat. We can see you. You're all good. I know you messaged me wanting to know how you get in the chat, but you're in the chat. So keep doing what you're doing, John.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now for physical activity, because the gym is canceled. My soccer season is canceled. And yeah, but that's a small price to pay considering what everyone else is going through right now. I'm able to work from home, and that's what's most important, and I'm healthy.
How did you come up with this? It sounds like you kind of have a schedule for yourself. How did you come up with it? Did you just immediately go, this is what I'm going to do? Did you have a few days where you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, what went through your mind, and how did you figure this out?
Well, when I wrote up the routine, I wanted to sort of mix up the different muscle groups. And so I wanted one day to focus on pushing type movements, which is going to be a lot of chest and triceps, and then one day to focus on pulling type movements, which will be more back and biceps and shoulders and stuff like that. And since I have the dumbbells and kettlebells and I'm kind of lazy, I figured I would throw all of that into one day. So I'm not grabbing out a bunch of dumbbells just to do one thing. I'm sure if, like, I'm not certified or anything, I'm sure that someone who's a professional would come up with a much better program than what I'm using. But
oh, good point. I should throw that out beforehand. What everyone's talking about is their own individual opinions and what works for them. By no way are we recommending this to anyone. We're not prescriptive. We're just discussing what each of us has figured out and what works for each of us. So thank you for that gentle reminder there. We've got somebody here commenting. I'm going to guess that there's somebody that knows either of you from the Keto Gains community. Mike, are you still doing your PWO, which I know is your pre-workout before working out? Sounds a little redundant, but I'm sure. Can you explain what that even means? And then we'll let you answer that.
Yeah, so a pre-workout is basically a mix of supplements that people will take before they work out. If I'm doing cardio, I don't bother, just because I don't really get any value out of it. I prefer to do cardio in the most painful state possible, which would be completely fasted. That's how I prefer to do cardio. But if I'm doing strength training, I will definitely have basically a protein shake beforehand with some creatine in it and a couple other things.
Mike, what keeps you motivated to stay active? Why are you being active?
Right now, that's just who I am, and so that's like I'm not motivated to brush my teeth in the morning. It's kind of the same thing. I just do it. It's just yeah.
I know in your past that wasn't who you are. So what can you share with us? What changed over the last 5 or 6 years of your life? I know we've had these talk a lot of times, so I know, but also just nobody.
Sure, yeah. So like,
so, yeah. How did you go from being a home brewer couch potato to this guy that's like, it's just who I am. I'm active.
Right. So I'm married to this really amazing woman, and we decided to have a child. And when having a child, I realized that I needed to make some drastic changes, and I needed to be healthier. And so I wanted to lose weight, and I wasn't sure if I should count calories or if I should count carbs. And being an engineer, I want to be like absolutely as efficient as humanly possible, and the least amount of effort to get the most amount of results is what I'm going to do. And so I decided that I'd rather count to 20 than count to whatever. And so I ended up realizing later that, to get the best results, some people might actually need to count calories as well. But that's basically how I got started, and we kind of went from there.
Excellent. And then your energy just came online and you couldn't not be active.
Yeah. So basically, I remember I was living in Bellevue, which is the next town south of me, and my daughter had just been born, and she was hanging out with my wife, and I was sitting on the couch, and literally my brain just told my butt to get up, and I went out and I ran like a mile in like 20 minutes or 16 minutes or something. And I had these really horrible shin splints, and so I stopped doing it. And then I got some different type of shoes that are, people call them minimalist shoes, where they don't have a lot of support, and that got rid of my shin splints overnight. And then that's all I wear. And then I just kept going, and I had a massive amount of energy when I was losing weight.
Same thing happened for me. I went from somebody who would try to hike and apologize how out of shape I was because I was just panting and breathing the whole time so hard, to I don't even remember exactly, a few weeks into my keto low carb journey. And I'd lost some weight at that point, but I was by no means in shape. And I'd been bedridden for the better part of a year and a half. And I had so much energy that I just had to go and walk, and I would just walk for 45 minutes, and it was, 85 degrees outside. So it wasn't even comfortable to do so, but I was just like, I have so much energy, I have to go and do something. So that's what happens for a lot of people when they get their body, they heal their metabolism enough that they can start to get that fat out of storage. And all of a sudden I've got energy now. And the other thing is that once you shift over to being primarily a fat burner, is that it doesn't require a lot of oxygen. So you're no longer heavily panting all the time and out of breath, even though you're not in shape. Like me, just getting out of bed after a year and a half, I wasn't in shape. My body was more efficient at needing less oxygen to burn the fuel that it had. So I could go and hike all day long and not be out of breath, even though I hadn't even done that in years at that point. So
that's totally true. I remember a few years ago, I was in the middle of losing weight, and I would take the stairs all the time, and I would practice holding my breath while taking the stairs and see how many stairs I could do while holding my breath. And the hike I just did a couple days ago with my daughter, I don't even think I had an elevated heart rate the entire time. It was maybe 1,200 feet of elevation gain, but I was walking at a 6-year-old pace, which is slow. So, yeah. And so now, like, if I'm going to get a good workout on a hike, I either have to do 3,000 or 4,000 feet of elevation gain, or I just have to turn into a trail run and just jog up the mountain, which is a whole nother level of craziness.
Yeah. Brendan, Ashley, what questions do you have for Mike?
Oh, well, I have a comment. I also don't run until I don't eat until after I've ran. So you mentioned that you don't do cardio. You do it on an empty stomach. What got you doing it like that? Why do you not eat until afterwards?
Because I tried it a bunch of different ways. And just the whole feeling of having food or liquid like sloshing around in my body while running, it just feels really weird, and I really don't like it. And then also, I like the idea of, I think sometimes they call it training low, competing high, where you sort of you're forcing your body to use body fat to get through a cardio type exercise. And then when you're on a race, then you don't do that, and the performance tends to be a little bit better. I noticed that myself with doing a couple of half marathons, and then I play soccer. And so on some games, I'll play soccer fasted, but if it's a playoff game and actually counts, then I'll, actually eat, and then I'm playing better, faster, etc.
Yeah, I can definitely go with that. I don't eat before I run because even though I'm running 3 miles, that's not a terribly long distance, but I still don't eat beforehand because I was getting side stitch every morning. I would get that every time that I ran. So I don't run. I don't eat until after I ran. But I agree with you. Train harder than you expect the situation to be. There's a quote that I really like. It's when you're in battle, you won't rise to your expectations. You will fall to the level of your training. And I love that quote because I always thought, man, if I end up in a fight or something crazy is happening, or I need to battle some really hard run, that I'll just magically be able to do it. Like the mom that lifts the car off the baby. But no, if you have to work at it, and if you train harder than what the situation's going to be, you're going to perform that much better. So I agree with you there.
Nice. Love it. I'm going to turn the light on behind me while we're doing.
Ooh.
Right.
We've just witnessed sunset in the Seattle area. So
Yep.
Mike and Ashley and I are all in the Seattle area. Brenda is someplace else. So Brenda, do you have questions for Mike? I'm going to put John's comment up here. John sharing 57, getting old forces you to stay active or suffer the health consequences. Mike, do you have any comments about that? Or?
I mean, it seems completely true. I would love my family members who are of that age to be a little bit more active as well. I'm really hoping to go on some hikes with my mom once we can. And I absolutely love it when people do strength training that are around that age, because it's going to combat sarcopenia to an extent.
Yeah. So
I met this woman, Lanny, down in San Diego when I saw Brenda and Carole there. She's a Keto Gains boot camper. She has sarcopenia, or had sarcopenia. I don't know if she still does, but she has gained just a massive amount of muscle mass doing keto and doing these boot camps. And so she's sort of the first person I think of when people talk about getting older and being active.
Mike, I know you've met a lot of keto celebrities beyond Carole. Okay, because we all are just like fan crushing over Carole and being on.
Oh, you're so sweet. Mike doesn't crush it.
Who are your biggest fan crushes that you've met on your keto journey? Because I know you've gone on like low carb cruises, and you've gone to Low Carb USA and other events. Who are your biggest fan crushes that you've met in those events?
Ooh, good question. I'm a huge fan of Ted Naiman, but I see him, like, he's my doctor, so I'll see him not at those events. But Amy Berger was one that definitely was like a fan moment kind of thing, and that was crazy because she came up to me and wanted to chat with me. And also Dave Feldman, Ken Berry as well. I think Ken's on this chat, so you kind of got to mention him. Ken's just so down to earth. You can just like BS with Ken about anything. And Sean Baker as well. Meaning, like, I think I don't think anyone's done low carb until they've had steak with Sean Baker. I think that should be some sort of a barrier to entry. And there's a bunch of others as well.
I love thinking about hanging out with Dr. John Lemansky on Honduran Beach.
Yeah, John's awesome. He's a super nice dude and very open with all of his information. And I'd say the same about Tyler Cartwright and Luis Villasenor as well.
Yeah.
Being they were on my bucket list to meet for quite some time, and I'm very glad that I got to finally meet Tyler and Luis last year. And I was hoping I'd be able to sync up with Tyler soon, because I was supposed to go to Tennessee for a Pearl Jam concert, but that got canceled. So missing out on that opportunity, unfortunately.
I've got a comment again from John here. He's in Puyallup, and so he's saying strength training at 57, maintaining joint health is a challenge. Again, we're not making any medical recommendations or prescriptions or anything like that. Any thoughts or comments on that, Mike? Or even I'll have Brenda chime in on this, because both of you guys are big into weight training. And then, but of course, next we're going to have Brenda go up too. So.
First thing I thought of was collagen and eating a lot of meat, basically.
Basically, I think everybody should be strength training in some form from now until you die. Quite frankly, I mean, I think it's something that you should actively be pursuing. And that doesn't mean that you go grab an ollie bar and have to do squats or whatnot. I mean, my mom, she has a big old thirst buster with cans of random vegetables, and she does bicep curls with that. I think it should be happening for everybody for the duration of their life. I mean, because if you don't build it, you lose it, basically. So.
Well, and then, I mean, I'm not an expert in weight training, but you're going to start out low and slow. And as your joints are healthy enough to be able to tolerate that, you're not going to try to, like you said, you're not going to start out with like, I'm going to bench press 300 pounds or squat that. You start out slow, and there's an exercise routine that can be adapted to anybody's physical abilities or limitations that they have. So.
Right. Like say for a push-up, for example, someone doesn't have to start with doing a full push-up. Someone can start with like a wall push-up, and then they could go to maybe their knees are on the ground, and you can progressively. So
you don't even need a floor for push-ups.
I guess you don't need a floor for push-ups. A floor or a wall.
All right. All right. I'm going to move on to Brenda now. And after Brenda, don't worry, everyone. We're going to get a chance to wrap up with everyone too. So again, those of you watching, thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and keep adding your questions in there if you've got questions for our experts here tonight. And we'll get to them. So let me introduce Brenda. Oh my gosh. So Brenda is somebody that I've also done another interview with her. And anytime I'm asking Mike, like, hey, who should I have on this thing? Brenda's like, Mike is like, you need Brenda, more Brenda. So Mike didn't say it, but Mike is a super fan of Brenda's, and rightfully so. Everyone should be a fan of hers after you hear her story. So Brenda Richards is an instructional coach, Menno Henselman's certified personal trainer, an NCSF sport nutrition specialist, and a member of the operations team of Keto Gains. She's based out of Arizona, but originally from Iowa. Her personal outlet for stress relief is strength training. She can be found online in the Ketogenic Dieters and the Keto Gains Facebook groups, and you can follow her on Instagram at Empowered by Keto. Welcome, Brenda, everyone.
Thank you so much. I have to say that I've been on a few interviews now, one with Carole and some other ones, and I am extremely humbled every single time I'm asked to do one of these, because I'm just trying to figure it out day to day so many times, and am willing to share my story and trying to encourage people to realize that, hey, I'm just a normal person like you, and you can do this too. And we just show up every day and try to do our best and try to improve each day. Just a little bit about me. I think it's, 10 years ago now. I had weight loss surgery initially at, the highest record on weight was 407 pounds. I would guess I was around 430 pounds at my highest weight, but frankly, there wasn't a scale that I encountered at that point that I knew of. So I would guess I was right around 430 pounds. I lost some weight and then kind of stabilized after 14 months. And then 4 years ago, I started the ketogenic diet at 291 pounds and continued my weight loss, changed things up, basically followed the plan that they recommended after weight loss surgery, which was eat lots of meat, eat some vegetables, don't eat tons of fat, and don't eat so many carbs. And that's what I followed. I followed ketogenic dieters first, and then added in Keto Gains boot camps about 6 months later. I had gone to the gym previously, and frankly, the cardio, like the treadmills and stuff, I hated it. I really hated it. And so I quit going. But when I started Keto Gains boot camp, I started lifting. And the very, 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 very first day of Keto Gains boot camp, I went in to do the weightlifting, and none of the videos worked on my phone. I did what I could just with the names of the descriptions. Okay, dumbbell bench press. Okay, I'll pretend like I know what I'm doing. And I went home and I sat on my kitchen floor and I cried. And I bawled like a baby because I'm like, this is not my world. I feel so out of my comfort zone. And then I said, okay. I let myself have a good cry, and I emailed myself all the videos from home to my phone. I showed up the next day, and 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 I kept showing up. At some point, it transitioned from something I do to something I am, and something I related so much to Ashley's story, even though hell will freeze over before I try to run 3 miles a day. It's not me. That's not my zone. But I think that's a big key right there. Find what you love. Find what you love to kill you every day, where you just end up miserable every day, and show up and do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not bench pressing anywhere close to what Luis Villanueva can bench press, or Michael Franklin. I know he's watching. I'm not bench pressing anywhere close to that, but I am pushing as hard as I can every freaking day. And my current motto, my kind of lifetime motto, is stronger every day. That doesn't necessarily mean in the gym. It could, and it does sometimes, but that means that I'm pushing myself to be a better me every single day. And that could be in the kitchen, that could be in the gym, that could be in relationships or whatever. That's my personal motto. So much of Ashley's story resonated with me. I have an app on my phone as well. I have an app called Don't Break the Chain. And the two comedians here, do you know who that's named after, or who started that? Yeah, Seinfeld. And he had a commitment to write a joke every single day. Good or bad, he would write a joke. And he started an app called Don't Break the Chain. And I've shared it with a lot of boot campers as well. And for the paid version, I don't care. Do whatever works for you. You can add multiple chains. I would encourage you not to add multiple chains until you get one down. And that's one that I use personally. And that's different things that I track at this point. And then I read a lot, or listen to audiobooks a lot when I used to commute, say like 2 weeks ago. One of the authors I like is James Clear. He writes he wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And one of the lines in it has become kind of like a mantra of mine. And it's something I've shared a lot. Behavior changes when identity changes. And so when I showed up at the gym initially, and I wrote down days, because I also track how many days I do things, just like Ashley. I started keto 1,445 days ago. I started Keto Gains boot camps 1,328 days ago. So, oh, and also I wrote this down. I used to do keto ice creams and stuff. I have been keto ice cream free 566 days, by the way. Keto ice cream sober. No Halo Top, no Enlighten, no nothing like that. But when I started that, I was not a lifter. When I went to do a DEXA scan a while later, it asked me to classify what kind of body type I was or what kind of person I was. And I marked athlete. I can guarantee you at 430 pounds, I had never dreamed I would be marking that on my descriptor, ever, ever, ever. But somewhere along the way, from that first day I showed up at boot camp to a year later, something transitioned with me, and that became part of who I was. And so if I want to be a lifter, I behave like a lifter. If I want to be a fit person, I make choices like a fit person. I don't make choices like a 430-pound woman. One of my choices I've made recently, now that we're homebound, if you will, is I spent some money and I bought a TRX Go. I spent some money and I bought a weight bench and some adjustable dumbbells because that's part of who I am. I'm a lifter. I have no desire to compete. I have no desire to show up and be a power lifter and compete in all these different things and have a 1 rep max and squat. I don't care. I'm doing this for me. And that's part of how I chose to spend my money currently, because I knew that it was just a matter of time until the gym was closed. I knew that. And so I prepared before things were sold out. I bought kind of a bar with some strap-on band things. I don't know. It's not even here yet, frankly. But it'll let me squat. It'll let me bench press, things like that. Is it going to be the same as the gym? No. The gym is my oasis. The gym is my home. And frankly, I mourn that. I think a lot of us in the weeks to come, we need to recognize that we may be going through a mourning period, a grieving period, and that's okay because none of us have this figured out right now. None of us have experienced this, and we need to be liberal with grace towards ourselves and others. And so as we sort this out, you do the best you can with what you have right where you are right now. I've just I feel like I jumped on a soapbox and preach, amen, all that stuff. So.
Oh, I think it's great. I'm noticing some themes, some characteristics that you all are sharing of what makes this just work for you, right? So for one, all of you have said, this is just who I am. It's no longer a choice, because when it's just who you are, you just do it, right? So I always use the example of, people that follow a vegan lifestyle. It's not a choice every day or each meal. It's part of their identity. That's who they are. And, you use the same example with people that CrossFit. I'm a CrossFitter. I do that, right? And so you guys are all active people. You have different types of activity that you're doing, but part of your identity is you're active. And that's part of what compels you and motivates you to keep going. The other thing I notice is a theme as well for every one of you is, tracking. So Mike has plans and trackers, and I know he's a numbers guy. And Brenda and Ashley both shared about their tracking their streaks. And those are another pattern I noticed for all of you. What keeps you on track and motivated and keep going is tracking and streaking. Yeah. Anyone else notice anything else? Commonalities? And I think something else I noticed as well, especially with Ashley and Brenda, was that in the beginning it wasn't easy. But you stuck with it, and then it got easy somewhere along the way.
I don't know that it's easy, but it's a daily choice.
Okay.
When that you wake up and you commit. I mean, I know Ashley probably has days that she feels like crap, and she says, no, but this is part of my daily routine. This is part of who I am. This is part of what I do. Because because there are days I don't want to go to the gym, but I go to the gym because that's part of my so 2 weeks ago, I went to the gym because that's part of who I was. But even now that I'm at home, I have a workout time because that's part of who I am. It's not necessarily, I guess it is a choice, but it's still just a daily commitment, a daily resolve.
I'm going to, in a moment, I'll ask Mike and Ashley for questions for Brenda. But my first question, though, is, do you have any insights, though? So there's going to be a lot of people watching this that are like, yeah, that's great for you. How do I get to the point where that's who I am and it no longer feels like a choice? Do you have any insights into that?
I would say find what you love, find what you want to do and just keep going. I knew that I hated the treadmill, and that kept me out of the gym. Just recently, I've been asked to join a spin class at my gym, and I've been asked to join kind of a resistance training class at my gym. Now, I like to work alone. That's my head time, my place to get right, where no matter what else is going on in the world, it's my time. And sometimes I've been at the barbell and I've been bawling, because it's my therapy, it's my oasis, it's my recovery, if you will. Find that thing for you, whether that's running 3 miles a day, whether that's hiking, whether that's swimming, whether that's weightlifting. Just get out and move and find what it is that you like and keep going. Or I guess at the beginning, I didn't necessarily like it. I just didn't hate it. And so I just kept showing up until I fell in love with it. And I mean, I sat there and I bawled the other day when I knew that the gyms would close. I saw it happening nationally. And my gym wasn't closed, but I quit going because I felt like that was my social responsibility to quit going. And I bawled. I mean, it still is it's making me emotional.
Yeah.
But just find that thing for you that just brings that light, brings that joy. And I don't care if it's running 3 miles. I laugh because they both describe their stories. That is so not me. The only thing I'm doing is I'm running to the squat rack to beat other people there. That's it.
So I can see Donna is the one sharing this. You're all very motivating. Love all your stories. Thank you, Donna, for the comment. Thanks for being here. All right. So Mike and Ashley, what questions do you have for Brenda?
Well, Brenda, so you were talking about how things get easier over time, or maybe not easy, but easier. What was a moment for you when did you have like a moment for you that you can remember where you thought, oh, this is getting easier, this is working?
I've never been a morning person in my life, but when I realized that I was getting up before my alarm, and that was because I wanted to go to the gym, that was when I realized that things had changed. I was always one, especially at my heaviest weight, as soon as I would get out of bed, I would hurt. My joints would hurt, my body would hurt, I would just ache. And now I'm 50 years old, and I'm probably in the healthiest stage of my life at 50 years old, as opposed to, I've fought my weight from way too long ago. I think that was when I realized that a transition had happened. I also had people come up to me at my gym. I had somebody come off of one of the recumbent bikes and chase me down. My first year, I spent the first year at Planet Fitness. Don't knock it. I know there's a lot of people that are willing to knock it. If it gets people moving, I don't care. Get them moving. But I had a lady come off a recumbent bike, and she came up to me, and I was still big. And she said, "You motivate me so much." And I sat there in the gym after she walked away, and I cried. I was doing my little 5-pound dumbbell bench press, and I cried because I realized that what I was doing on a daily basis was making a difference to other people that I didn't even know. So And that's why I'm willing to share my story like on ketogenic dieters and keto gains, because I know there's other people that look like me when I started. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Okay. So Brenda,
yes, Berta.
so now that you're lifting at home, not really by choice because of what's going on, I'm curious if there's anything you're doing that's specifically body weight only. If so, what? And or are you just trying to get as much equipment as you can to replicate the gym as much as possible?
Actually, I don't want to buy a ton of equipment because I don't want it around after all this after this whole thing is over. I've ordered a bench. I've ordered adjustable dumbbells. I have a TRX Go, which is like the Pocket Monkey. I know that both of those are pretty common. The Pocket Monkey is like a suspension training program or suspension training. I chose the TRX Go because it was cheaper, frankly.
As a single lady, a pocket monkey sounds like something totally different. Okay.
Of course, Carole, you would take it there. Here's the line. There's Carole.
Tell me more about this. Oh no, okay, that's not what I thought it was.
I'm glad there's two comedians on here because I didn't even have to say anything.
But I bought a TRX Go, and that's all body weight suspension exercises. I think part of the whole thing in this is we have to find time, being two comedians here, that we find time to laugh each day. Today I fell on my tush during TRX Go. I mean, I totally wiped out. My feet slid. I was down. And instead of being frustrated with it, I laughed. I mean, it's not ideal. We're making the best of what we've got with where we are right now. And that's okay. Is it going to keep me from trying it tomorrow? No. But that's one of the things I chose to buy. And then I shared it in the chat, like a bar that little clips hook on and resistance bands. Do I know how it's going to work yet? No. I have no idea. It's not even here. I don't know. Am I going to fall on my tush? Probably, because I'm clumsy like that. But you know what? I'm going to show up again the next day. And I'm going to stand back up and I'm going to try it again, because nobody's an expert in the beginning. That's the key. Nobody's running 3 miles a day the very first time they put, sneakers on their feet. It's just not reality. It might be running 10 steps and walking 10. It might be running 10 steps and walking 30. It might just show up. Try to be better each day and be liberal with grace, even in good times. I mean, we've got a lot of crap coming at us right now, but even in good times, be liberal with grace.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm getting a feedback here. We've got 8 people still on live, which is amazing. Oh, we just got down to 7. Oh, who left? Any of you still watching? Any questions for Brenda, Mike, or Ashley? Please post them now. And if there aren't any questions or anything that are going to pop up, then we're going to wrap this up. So what I've been doing, so this is the third one. Actually, let me give you a little teaser for all of you that are here. So those of you that are here, I'm going to be doing this live. Now that I figured out the live part, I'm so excited. So I'm going to be doing this live every single night. Tomorrow's show, so Sunday, the 22nd, the theme is going to be spring refresh. Using this time as an opportunity to reset rather than giving up. I have 2 people scheduled right now, and I'm going to have another third guest that will be a surprise. But right now I have Brenda Reese, who is a forgiveness coach. And then I have Lisa Fisher, who is a stylist, a wardrobe stylist. And so that's tomorrow's episode. I've got episodes planned on mindfulness, living in the moment, how to support best immune function, and on and on and on. And so if you guys liked this tonight, invite your friends to the group. Share the group. That's how they're going to be able to share this. So going forward, we're just going to keep going live every night in this Keto Chat group. So if you liked it, that's how you can compliment, is invite your friends and share that with other people. So let's see, those are all from Brenda. So yeah, I'm like, which questions? Yeah, excellent. So All right. I don't see any other questions. If you guys still want to pop them in, they may still come in here. But it seems like actually that the questions come into this live platform before they even show up on my phone. So that's kind of cool. All right. So we're going to wrap this up. This is what I do in my own coaching. I do the group coaching for keto, and this is how I end those calls. And so I found it's actually a good fit for this as well. So we're going to wrap this up with what I call the lightning bolt round. So if each of you will share your aha, your takeaway, whatever it is that you'd like to say to wrap this up.
All right, I'll go first. What I would like to say to wrap this up is there are a lot of people that don't exercise or don't go to the gym because they are concerned about what other people think of them. I have never seen anybody, when I've been out running, I've never seen another runner and thought, oh, they shouldn't be doing this, or made fun of them. I've never met another runner or another person exercising that has said anything nasty or negative. All I've ever thought is good for them. No matter what, it's hard. Get out there and do it. So if you're embarrassed, don't be. You're doing an amazing thing. Get out there and get it done. And just like Brenda was saying, people were coming up to her and saying, thank you for motivating me. You can be that person to somebody else. So get out there. Don't be shy or embarrassed about any of it. When I first started running 5 years ago, I was probably 154 pounds. I'm 5'6". Now I'm 130. You know, it's not all about weight loss, but it worked. Just doing something every day. Don't be shy. Get out there and you're going to do great.
That is a fantastic message. I know, because the only people that are making fun of people are the ones that aren't doing anything, right? So that's, I love that message. So this message here is from Donna, saying how we've all motivated her and she needed this. I'm so glad you're here tonight, Donna.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so to kind of add to what Ashley was saying about seeing people running and you would never like say that's the person who shouldn't be doing that. That's totally correct. Same thing happens at the gym as well. Not that we can go to the gym now, but we'll get through this, everybody. We'll get through this. We'll be back in the gym eventually. Our kids will be back in school. I'll get to go back to Bellevue and annoy my coworkers in the office instead of remotely. We'll get through this, but people have asked me about going to the gym and just being like freaked out and not knowing what to do. And I see people there who are just like, they look just like absolutely scared out of their mind. And what I kind of tell people is like, just to put some headphones on and fake it till you make it. Like, you'll be good. It's better than not doing anything. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now is like, I'm trying so hard because I'm at home. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm an engineer. I'm trying to do all these things at the same time. And like, I still find the time and make the time to get some exercise in. But it might not be perfect form on every single lift. I might not be setting PRs on everything, but making the time to do it. So that's what I would say.
Okay, I'm going to jump in there. Now I'm going to go head to head with Berta here. He said, fake it till you make it. I don't believe that. That's one of the things that, two phrases that I really, really, they just get me. Fake it till you make it, and you got this. Because sometimes you don't, frankly. Sometimes you just want to sit on the kitchen floor and cry like I did. I'm not a fake it till you make it. I'm a face it till you make it. So you show up, you keep showing up. And it's not a matter of faking it. I'm vulnerable in it. I mean, there are times that I've dropped the freaking weight. You know, there's times that, like today out on the patio, I ended up on my tush. That's okay. You just embrace it and you stand back up and you try again. And it's not a fake it till you make it. I'm not trying to be a power lifter. I'm just trying to show up and do the best that I can with what I've got right now, where I am at this point in time. I try to have a mantra that helps me in the hard times. And that mantra has changed. I've had things like, you can do hard things. And that's something I've passed along to my boot campers. You're worth it. my current one actually came off of a tank top that somebody sent me. It says, you are in control. So my mantra right now is I am in control. And there's so much in our life right now. We've got the spheres of control. There's so much that we don't have in our control. We don't have control about the fact that the gym's closed. We don't have control about the fact that Washington should be on shelter in place. We don't have control about the fact that California is in shelter in place. We don't have control about the fact that there's no meat at the store. We don't have control about so many things. But what I have control about is how I react to it. And when I don't want to work out, when I don't want to cook the dinner that is on my plan for the day, when I don't want to do X, Y, Z, I try to remind myself with that mantra that I'm in control of whatever choices and consequences as a result of those choices come. And so that's my current mantra. Just something that resonates with you. Heck, along the way, my mantra has been the weight that I last saw on the scale because I didn't want to see that. So it's just something that kind of kicks you in the butt and reminds you of your overarching goals in life. And those mantras can change. It's just something that resonates with you currently where you are right now. So I try to have one of those all the time. So mine right now is I am in control.
Such wonderful messages. And I've never heard that, but that's going to be my takeaway because I love that. Face it till you make it. I love that. That's fantastic. Yeah. Keep showing up. Oh my gosh, you guys, this has been so amazing. Thank you all for being here. I've had a wonderful time. I hope everyone here, we've done really well at like keeping our audience the entire time. So apparently the people that were here watching also enjoyed all this as well. So thank you again for showing up, everyone. Please share the group with your friends if you like this. That's the highest compliment. Again, I'm going to be back again tomorrow at the same time. And thanks again for watching. All of you that are here, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Carole. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you for filling my need of seeing people.
It was nice to meet you, Ashley. Hopefully when this is all over, maybe I can go on a run with you someday. We can check Carole out or something.
Let's do it.
I'll cheer for you guys because I won't run with you.
That's fine. Whatever you need.
It's not going to happen. That will be the true apocalypse if I'm running with you.
And it was nice seeing you again too, Brenda and Carole. I look forward to seeing you again shortly since we're actually in the same town. So
is that Mazzy in the background?
Oh, that's the dog. The dog came in. Yeah.
The dog's like, ooh. We're talking
Be
about
well,
running?
everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care. All right. Thanks for being here. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.